This is so lopsided. Okay. My phone almost fell. Hey guys, it's Natalie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about something that I personally didn't know a lot about. I had to actually research and understand what I was going to be talking about because I know a lot of people have issues with this, including me, and I didn't really understand. So I'm going to try to simplify it down for you guys so everyone can understand what fish cycling is. I literally have my laptop here with a ton of notes, so hopefully everything goes okay. So when you buy a fish or are looking into buying a fish, you might hear this thing called cycling. Lots of people will say, hey, before you buy a fish, you should cycle your tank. But what is cycling? And you might be wondering, why do I need to cycle my tank? A lot of people will say, I never cycled my tank and my fish is all right and living, so you don't need to cycle your tank. Well, if your betta fish survived and you didn't cycle your tank, it's because betta fish is one of the hardiest, toughest fishes out there, and they can endure that kind of pain. So the cycle that everyone's talking about is called the nitrogen cycle, and it's kind of hard to understand, so I'll try my best to explain it. A fish enters a brand new uncycled tank. Eventually the fish will need to poop, or sometimes it won't eat all of its fish food. Both of these things turn into ammonia. Ammonia can contaminate the water, and it's basically like a bad chemical that is very harmful to fish and most creatures and can possibly kill your fish. If your tank isn't cycled, the ammonia has nowhere to go, so it just stays in the water and slowly kills your fish. And that's obviously bad. So what the nitrogen cycle does is take the ammonia into your filter and uses good bacteria to break it down into another chemical called nitrite. Nitrite is still very poisonous and causes fish to gasp at the surface. So after it becomes nitrite, your filter and good bacteria breaks that down again and it turns into nitrate. So nitrate is safer for your fish, but it's still not good for it. That's why it needs to be removed from the tank every 1 or 2 weeks with water changes. And I actually have a video on water changes if you're interested in checking that out. So basically, to sum it up, your fish will produce a toxic chemical, your filter and good bacteria will adapt and learn to turn that into another toxic chemical that will then become a less toxic chemical and become an endless cycle to keep your fish safe. So lots of pet stores actually say that cycling is just setting up your tank without a fish and letting it run for a couple of days, but that's actually not true because your tank doesn't have any ammonia to feed off of. So that's why it's best to establish the nitrogen cycle before you add a fish. Now here is how you do that. There are a lot of different ways to do this, and I personally don't have a ton of experience because I didn't think that cycling was necessary, but after researching and basically learning that your fish is swimming in poisonous water, I decided that, cycling is a good idea. So there's lots of different ways. I'm not an expert for sure, so I'm glad you're doing your cycling research, but also look at other different websites and blogs and videos just to make sure that you know what you need to do. Alright, so there's 2 different ways you can cycle your tank, one with a fish and one without a fish. It's best to start cycling your tank without a fish so there's no accidental problems. It's very trial and error, so I'm going to be explaining how to cycle your tank without a fish, but there are other ways you can do it with a fish that you can also look up. So set up your fish tank with a filter and let your tank run. Add your water conditioner to get all the chlorine out of the water, and then start adding ammonia in small amounts. You can do this by adding fish food, or you can buy aquarium ammonia. You will need a testing kit to monitor your tank and know how far the cycle is. Unfortunately, these are pretty expensive, but it's going to be worth it once, your fish is going to be living for a long time. So depending on which kit you buy, you want to follow those specific instructions, but here's just a more basic way. Test your water every few days until you notice that the ammonia levels are dropping. This could take up to 2 weeks or a month until your bacteria is established. Once your ammonia levels are 0, add more ammonia and check the levels until it is 0 again. Continue doing this until it drops to 0 in a 24-hour period. The quicker that the ammonia levels drop to 0 means that your filter and everything running inside is becoming established to taking that ammonia and turning it into something that is more safe for your fish. Once your cycle is complete, you need to remove the nitrates by turning off your filter and doing a 70 to 80% water change, and refill your tank with dechlorinated water. And make sure that the tank is the same temperature as before, or else it could kill the bacteria that you just produced. Once your tank becomes the right temperature, you can turn that filter back on and everything should be working normal. So the good bacteria that is in your filter now should be adjusted to the way that the tank runs. So now you can add your fish in, and if the fish were to poop or not eat all of its fish food, your filter will become adjusted to that already and can quickly turn that ammonia and poisonous stuff into less poisonous stuff and make it safe for your fish to live in its tank. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how to cycle your tank. There's probably lots of details that I missed out, so I want you to make sure that you do all of your research and make sure you know exactly what you need to do to cycle your tank. But yes, this completes my video. I hope you guys learned something and understand the importance of cycling your tank. Lots of people just brush past it, and it kills me that they don't know that their fish is in pain. I haven't noticed it a lot with betta fish because they can kind of endure those situations, but other fish like goldfish or mollies or just any other kind of regular fish cannot live in an uncycled tank. And I didn't even know that. I remember when I was a little girl and I got some goldfish and I just plopped it in a tank and it died in like a week, and I was like, why? I was feeding it, I was doing everything right, why did it die? And now I realize it's because its poop and food was slowly killing the fish, and that's so sad, and I don't like thinking about that. So yeah, from here on out, always cycle your tank. It can take a really long time, and it's really all about patience. You have to have patience. But once you have that tank cycled and that good bacteria established, you don't need to cycle your tank anymore. Like, it's done. Like, it's completely done, unless you kill your bacteria or anything like that. But yes, now I'm just rambling on. So if you enjoyed this video, please like it. Let me know if I said anything wrong. As I said before, I'm not an expert and I always love learning new things. So if you think I got anything wrong, you can leave a comment down below. But yes, thank you for watching my video, and I hope to see you in my